Welcome back to the Lines College Football Podcast. I'm Brett Gibbons of TheLines.com, breaking down some Tuesday night college football action. Before we get into it, don't forget to follow the Lines on Twitter or X at TheLinesUS, and I am at Road to CFB. I'll be here every single week breaking down the Tuesday night college football slates, and be sure to tune in to our other shows, the ones that I'm on with Kelly Ford for the full weeknight and Saturday slates. Also, be sure to check out our full lineup of shows, including Beat the Closing Number with Eli Hershkovich and Mo Nuwara, and the Lines Megapod featuring Stephen Andres and Matt Brown. Look, we've only got 2 more weeks of this glorious, beautiful Conference USA action midweek before we get my favorite Maction, and also the Sun Belt joins in on the party this week as well. First up, we have Middle Tennessee at Liberty. The Flames are 13.5-point home favorites, and this game carries an over-under of 55 points. Kicks off Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Look, Jamie Chadwell, he must be King Midas of the college football offense. Really, everything he touches turns to gold. You just have to look at last year's splits versus this year for Liberty. Last year, they were 69th in points per drive, and this year, they're all the way up to 14th. So his system works. We know this. We saw it at East Carolina. He brings it to another school. It's still working there. They're 22nd in offensive success rate and 25th in EPA per play. And it all stems from the run game. It's this creative triple option RPO system that's been working actually pretty well with quarterback Caden Salter this year. You don't even realize that you're watching option football. That's because it's just so they get their best player, the football, on the perimeter and in as many ways as they can, and it's really been working for this team quite well. I think they're built well for it as well. Sultan, a good athlete, good runner, and also a good downfield passer, but we'll get to that. Salter does lead Conference USA starters in passer rating and has 15 big-time throws to just 4 turnover-worthy plays. So he's picking his spots, and he's very effective with it. In the backfield, you have running backs Quentin Cooley and Billy Lucas. They've been extremely efficient. Between them two and Salter, they have 43 combined runs of 10 or more yards. That is by far most in the conference. Middle Tennessee, on the other end, their defense, a little bit better against the run than the pass, but the passing game has been an issue. They've allowed the 9th most passes of 10 or more yards down the field in the country, and they're 115th in passing success rate allowed. The downfield passing game, like I just said, is going to be a big time issue for that Middle Tennessee defense. Caden Salter is extremely good at throwing the ball down the field. He has 126.6 passer rating on passes of 20 or more yards. He has a 58% adjusted completion rate on those throws and 11 touchdowns versus just 1 interception. 15 of those 20 completions are deemed big time by PFF. And again, 11 of those have gone for touchdowns. So over 50% of his throws down the field of 20 or more yards go for touchdowns, according to PFF. Yeah, pretty good. I'm going to be looking to back Salter's passing yards in this game. I'm looking at his receiving core, whatever offers we're going to get. Some of the sports books, I know they can be a little funny with offering props for these midweek Conference USA games. I got to get it, I guess. It's a blind spot. There's big edges for bettors like us, but I'm looking at Trayon Sibley, CJ Daniels, if those are offered. Those are 20-plus ADOT guys and have enough targets per game to make it worthwhile looking over their receiving options. But for this one here, Liberty, Middle Tennessee, I'm looking at betting over Caden Salter's passing yards, over receiving offers for some of the top guys, whoever will be offered there. Moving forward, but staying in Conference USA, we have Western Kentucky, a 7-point road favorite at Jacksonville State. This game carries an over-under of 60 points, and it kicks off Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. The splits this year for Jacksonville State have been pretty clear. Look, they beat bad teams, and then they lose the better ones. I know that's really kind of a strawman way of looking at it, but it just is true. Their average power rank of their FBS wins this year is 120th. And if you're looking at the Hilltoppers, I ranked them with my aggregated power ratings 11 points higher than Jacksonville State's current best win. Western Kentucky is second best in Conference USA, 84th nationally. So that does fall above where Jacksonville State's been beating teams, that kind of threshold there. Threshold, honestly, about 115th. Their best win is 116th in power ratings this year. That being said, Houston State, believe it or not. Malachi Corley has received at least 12 targets in every single game after week 1. And in that week 1 game, he got hurt and was targeted on 5 of 7 pass snaps when he was in. So we know that he's a workhorse, but he's like a super workhorse. He's 12, 15 targets a game. They're low ADOT. He's kind of an extension of their run game, but he's extremely shifty with the ball in his hands, one of the better yak receivers in the country. And if you're looking at Jacksonville State, they've allowed workhorse receivers to get their work in. So I'm probably looking to Corley's yards and or receptions, depending on the number, that's probably going to be getting kind of expensive because me telling you that he's received 12 targets in every full game this season is not some sort of insider information that the odds makers and books don't have, but I will be looking on that. Sometimes if they hang a number in the mid-80s, I'm just auto-betting the over. That almost seems like a guarantee each and every week. That is based solely on workload, because if you look at the other side, Jacksonville State actually does defend the slot pretty well. Their three primary slot defenders allow a 61.7, 58.3, and 9.4 passer rating when targeted. They're not allowing a whole lot to come from slot receivers. They're also a very sound tackling secondary, so there's no real issues there, but they have not played a slot receiver to the caliber of Malachi Corley yet this season. On the other defense, Western Kentucky is one of the worst tackling teams across the board, and that definitely bleeds in the secondary. You go into the missed tackles in terms of Conference USA secondary players, and they have three guys in the top six just alone on missed tackles in the secondary. So, honestly, I'm probably looking to play over 60 points in this. It was bet down a little bit. It opened at 61.5 FanDuel, jumped up to 62.5, and now it's been bet down. I'm looking to play back, looking over 60 here. Jacksonville State runs runs the fastest pace in the country. We've seen that. We saw it be an issue against Middle Tennessee when they gave up an avalanche of points in the middle of the game there because their secondary gets gassed when they're always on the field and teams are consistently stretching them down the field like Western Kentucky will do. They'll stretch them laterally and vertically. And these guys probably they're going to get pretty tired if their offense continues to run that breakneck pace. And Western Kentucky, they're a high volume passing team with tackling issues themselves. I'm looking to play over the point total of 60. I may wait full disclosure, we're recording this Monday morning. I'm probably going to wait 12 hours to see what happens with that number. As long as it stays under 62, I'm playing the over in this game. In the final game on the Tuesday docket, we have Southern Miss at South Alabama. The home team Jaguars are 17.5 point favorites, and it carries an over-under 53.5 points. Kicks off Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. South Alabama, they've had a confusing season. They beat the brakes off Oklahoma State and then turn around and lose to Central Michigan the next week, and they sit at 3-3 on the season. The other two losses coming to Tulane and James Madison. So can't really fault them in that. And then maybe Central Michigan was more of a letdown spot after going into Stillwater and just handing it to Oklahoma State potentially. But I don't know. They gave up 34 points to the Chips there. This is a game that the Jags, I think they match up really well against Southern Miss. The Golden Eagles have been a run-exclusive team the past few years, but that's actually really come down to about a 50-50 split. They're about FBS average in terms of rush rate this season. It doesn't help, though, that they've been playing from behind in almost every single game. So they're kind of forced to throw the ball when they're allowing 50-plus points to Arkansas State, 56 points to Texas State. Of course, they're going to have to throw it a lot more than they would like, but the game plan is still there. I mean, they want to run the football. When they come out in games early, they hand the ball to Frank Gore Jr. That's just what they do. And Southern Miss, 0 FBS wins on the season, including losses to Arkansas State, which at the time, I thought the Red Wolves were trending up in a good direction with the new quarterback, but they just got shut out not long ago. And then they also lost to Old Dominion, which I don't know about that one. South Alabama's defense, 15th in EPA per rush allowed. Frank Gore Jr., he's a workhorse, but he doesn't have the team in front of him to be that efficient. He was held to just 66 rushing yards on 29 carries against Old Dominion in their last game there. Just brute. I mean, you're just handing the ball off and running into a brick wall at that point, hoping for the best. Their quarterback, Southern Miss's quarterback, Billy Wiles, has a third worst completion rate, only 53%, and seventh worst yards per attempt at 6.2 nationally. This isn't a conference thing, that's national. Southern Miss, they get in trouble when they force the ball through the air, and they have to based on their game script, falling behind in games, and you can't just keep handing the ball off for 3 yards of carry when you're losing by 15 points. They're 108th in passing success rate so far this year. Their offense against teams that are ranked in the top half nationally in points per drive allowed, 9.7 points per game. Versus bottom half and their FCS opponent, 37.7 points per game. There's, again, a clear divide between are they playing a defense with a pulse or are they playing a bad defense. That just dictates how they're going to score in this game. And again, inefficient run game against a good run defense. They don't have a good passing game if they fall behind. I'm looking to under 17.5 team total points for Southern Miss in this game because I believe South Alabama at home has a good enough defense to be able to force them to throw the ball, and bad things happen when Southern Miss is throwing the ball. Hop on over to our Discord server where you can connect with over 4,000 sports betting fans, get live updates in our college football channel, and join a sharp and very active community. You can get ahead of the best numbers if you're in that Discord. Sign up for notifications in the #Rolls server, and you'll be getting the best of the numbers all the time. Don't forget to subscribe to Align's YouTube for weekly college football odds and betting videos all season long, just like this one, and subscribe to us on your podcasting app of choice, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it. If you liked what you heard here, well, I'll tell you what, it gets even better when I'm not by myself. So go ahead and drop a good review on this. Drop a good review on another episode that we have when I do have Kelly Ford in with me here. And let me know down in the comments where you lean on any of these 3 games. I'm sure you have some sort of thought on that, whether you agree, disagree, or have your own lean here. But thanks as always for watching. I'm Brett Gibbons, and we'll see you all next time.